Stream 85 plus live channels with no hidden fees. YouTube TV. Try it free.
Alright guys, so this is how you're going to play Overwatch with a VPN. Now for this video I'm going to be using TorGuard VPN. This is my favorite VPNs for gaming, and if you've been around any of the videos on my channel, you've seen me recommend them probably plenty of times. So guys, why do I recommend it? Well, it's just a really good VPN with a lot of options, good speeds, good pricing. Of course, with my code, it makes it one of the cheapest VPNs out there. Best 10 VPN is the code you want to use on checkout. Now there are some cheaper VPNs in theory with like private internet access, which is only $6.95 a month. But since it's cheaper, they don't hand out as many codes. And with TorGuard, you can actually get down to $5 a month if you're just signing up for 1 month, or even as cheap as, you know, maybe $3 to $4 a month if you sign up for a year. So what you're going to want to do is connect to a server nearby your location, but also in a location that doesn't have restrictions based on where you are. Maybe you're in the Middle East and you have some chat restrictions or gaming restrictions. You're going to want to connect to a server maybe in Europe or somewhere like that where there's not any restrictions. You might get a little bit of a speed decrease, but if you want to play games, it could be worth it. Now TorGuard is going to have pretty fast speeds here in terms of a VPN provider, where some free VPNs really give you slow speeds and restrict how much you can use your video games. Now with TorGuard, it's going to be unlimited speeds and unlimited bandwidth you can use, so you don't have to worry about being capped there, guys. Now it's going to be pretty simple. Now with a VPN, you just connect and launch the client by clicking play. But one thing you might notice is that with a VPN, since you're using a different IP, Blizzard may cause you to re-authenticate yourself when you're logging into the client. Now you can actually fix this by purchasing a dedicated IP with TorGuard, so Blizzard comes to know and recognize your dedicated IP, which is unique to you, whereas VPNs usually use shared IP addresses. Now it is going to cost a little bit more to get that dedicated IP, but you can use it for other things like streaming Netflix and stuff like that, since shared IPs don't really work with Netflix. And they also cause services like Battle.net Launcher and banking apps to maybe re-authenticate yourself. So guys, you can also skip that if you want and get the dedicated IP, but overall it's not too much of a hassle. Just will enter in your login again once you connect to that VPN. So there you go, you see I'm logging in again, and we got it pretty much good to go. Now guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Pretty simple, just find a good VPN, connect, and you should be able to play Overwatch around the world, at work, school, or whatever you want to do with it. Now if you want to support the channel, find the links in the description down.
Wi-Fi for a more connected home. Where you can dim the light.
I can already see the title. J3 with Doomfist Part 2. Heck W-E-E. Tilting streamer gone bad. LOL with the fucking weird ass fucking like thumbnail like.
I wonder how much we're gonna do with Ryan.
Yo, what's going on today, guys? It is Sam, better known as Samito. Welcome back to the channel today for another episode of Shocker Farming J3. This is a really funny one, so make sure you guys buckle down and enjoy it. But reminder, if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that sub button. I appreciate having you guys around. I put a lot of effort into my content, and a lot of you guys who actually watch these videos aren't subs. So if that sounds like you and you haven't hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider it. And if you really want to support the channel, hit that join button down below. We are going to be doing a lot of member coaching. So basically, I'm going to live stream members' VODs on member-only mode and put them in a playlist so you can go back and watch any of those VODs or replay codes at any point for any character and learn. It's going to be the ultimate Overwatch coaching series. I'm trying to do it every day, but it's not going to be every day, but I'm going to try to do it every day. So hit that join button down below to check out the previous VODs that were member-only, and I hope you guys enjoy. Peace out. Alright, Chad, don't worry, I was in queue for 18 minutes. What, Chad, explain to me how I'm in queue for 18 minutes at 4,300. This game is dead. Oh! Blizzard needs a fixed tank. Alright, Chad. Doom on Blizzard World is not great. You guys just speed straight at that corner, okay? And then I'm gonna feed on the back end. Just go for it, just go for it. Don't stop.
No, fucking versus one. And the reset.
There's a action line.
Rista love.
I'm sorry, I died in myself.
Yeah,
You're on the ball.
Hold on a minute, I'm coming back. I will touch at 2 ticks. Who's alive? Tracer? Okay, Tracer's not alive. Tracer's actually dead. The Bastion's kinda... No.
Oh my god.
no, she died.
Yo, Mercy.
Oh my god, he's mad.
Look at Mercy. Left.
She's one.
Hit her. Yo, really won.
Alright, that's their attention over there. Watch out on the
Chad, do I hit Jay with a rollout here?
Careful, Stig, you're gonna die there.
Where's the Ash?
she's main.
She's topside on the rotator.
Camping.
Watch out.
I'm gonna dodge Baby Diva. Baby Diva behind us.
You guys all made it.
They're gonna res.
Baby Diva behind us.
Falls one.
Shooting through.
Ball behind. And Tracer.
Just move back. Move up.
Tracer's left.
Do you want to move up here and just...
Yeah, I'm gonna spawn kill this Ash.
She's still left, right there.
She's one.
Come on, Tracer one.
She's not guard!
Nice. Okay, nice.
I have beat coming up. Can we pull Doom on maybe at some point?
Oh, topside above us.
That's a fun hero right there. Dude, there's some kind of bug with the velocity, like no cap. If you go up in the... Where is he? Above.
3-1.
I mean, I'm not gonna get healed there, but like, it doesn't really matter, because as long as I'm stalling, because we have BAP, we just pocket our Bastion, and I just have to like int at them and we win. Like, if they're shooting me instead of my Bastion, we just win. It's...
Ooh, you already used your...
Look at the stick right here.
Yeah, 6 main.
I'll fucking...
Bro, we have all of this shit, we never use it on me, man. I mean, I'm going out equal value. I should definitely get drone there, though. It's all good. They have Bastion, too? Oh, my God. I actually can't play Doom in a Bastion here. Jay picked my counter. Jay legitimately just picked the hardest Doom counter in the game. Oh my god, I can't let him figure out about this chat, or else he's gonna do it every time I play Doom. He's gonna do it. Jay's gonna go Bastion every time, and I won't be able to play Doom. Whoa, we need a bat. Chop, you go bat then. Let me play Ana. We can nano Doom still. Go show me the bat. I'm so much better than you. It's actually crazy. It's actually crazy, buddy. That's right.
On the back part.
While you're in?
Break this shield. Netting, break this shield. Sleep.
He's full health. Holy shit.
Reloading.
I got you.
Build nano and the nano Doom, okay?
Yeah, we'll do it. No, flash.
No.
Oh no, I get
Dude, please. Oh, we're doing it. That's fine. 3 on.
Inton cart. Actually, I have I'll find you, Jay.
Don't worry, this is a fun game.
Yo, set up on the high ground. What the
Holy
fuck?
Lord.
Oh, my ass is being eaten.
I died very fast. It's okay, I got time.
Just realized how one I was. What's the choice you're gonna touch?
What on the
Bastion is one of my favorite heroes to play. When you're seriously dominating on Bastion, there honestly is almost nothing more fun in all of Overwatch. In this video, because of Bastion's new buffs that make him just pretty much all around better, I'm here to give you 4 nice examples with some good lessons behind them, and let's get right into it. So first off, when you're playing Bastion, especially on the very first attack or defense of the game, Bastion seriously can alter the team's playstyle, and this means that 1, sometimes the team is going to have to rotate to a different position, and 2, sometimes don't even realize you're there, and you can easily punish people for making mistakes that normally would go unpunished by a normal team. So I'm going to make this transition as fast as possible and heal myself along the way so I take as little damage as possible. Now, look at this. Their Rhine is going to charge our Zarya, which is a pretty bad idea in the first place, but because I'm there to punish it as well, we can easily finish off that Reinhardt and make it an instant 5v6. Now, that Reinhardt probably shouldn't have charged regardless of the comp, but especially when you're playing a Bastion, you can easily punish people that make bad decisions like that. You can also, especially if you have your team there, punish people that are seriously too anxious to kill you, and you can get some nice kills that way. Now, from here, especially once you have those 2 entry picks that you are trying to get for your team, you can easily just set up on the point or a little behind the point. And from here, you'll see how I have a really good field of view of the entire point. If anybody wants to come onto the point, like let's say an Ashe or something, I can just beam her down immediately and just basically claim this point as my own. So you'll see how me playing Bastion there not only was able to secure us 2 entry picks because they were being a little cocky, but also once I'm on the point, it zones them away from the point, makes it really easy for us to cap, and allows us to cap this first point in like 45 seconds, which is really great. The thing I want to cover in this clip essentially is Bastion's ultimate, Into Grav. It isn't really a combo that you see very often, but it is incredibly powerful as well. It's a ton of burst damage, which means if there is no shield, you can easily pick off squishies that are stuck in the grav. And even if there is a Reinhardt, like there will be in this clip, you can easily just break their shield until eventually it goes down. And from there, a Bastion versus a team with no shield is pretty easy. So let's take a look. So there's a Pharah on high ground. I am a little concerned about that, but my first target obviously is going to be breaking the shield and trying to get any people that possibly are behind them. So I managed to get 1 nice pick onto the Moira, almost kill this BAP, finish him off, and then from here, just set up wherever you are and try and deal as much damage as possible. When the team is on their back foot like this, you just want to prioritize staying alive and dealing as much damage as possible, especially getting that bob off the point so you can start capping. So again, now I'm back to my normal spot, right? I'm setting up essentially right at the beginning of the point, and this way I have a great line of sight of everywhere on the point, and anybody that comes to the point I can easily beam down, like this Moira, who just decides to fade, and I can just easily finish her off, as well as finishing off the lamp and any target that comes to the point. You'll see how I'm not taking basically any damage, and I don't feel at all threatened by the enemy, because look, I have so much burst damage in a 1v1 scenario, there is no way that anybody on their team can actually kill me. And because of that, I can turn this contest scenario that can sometimes last a good few minutes and essentially just shorten it down to one fight and cap it within a few seconds. That's why I like Bastion for 2CP, because once the enemy is on their back foot, you can just set up and completely clean off the point and claim it as your own. So Bastion is a team-defining character. A lot of teams have to play around a Bastion, and a lot of enemies then have to play around the enemy Bastion. That means that the enemy is oftentimes going to try and invest ultimates with the sole purpose of just killing you as Bastion. How can you prevent this from happening? Well, one of them is ult tracking, and that is by far the most important thing that you should be doing in any games, but especially on heroes like Bastion. Right now, we're aware that the enemy has Grav Dragon, and that's a very scary ultimate combo given that we don't have any defensive ultimate, and if they get enough of us in the Grav Dragon combo, there's really nothing we can do to stop it. So we have to make up our own way to stop it. And my first thought is, well, I'm on Bastion, I don't want to be the one that dies first, so let me get out of the way. So I'm set up here at first, and I just think to myself, well, maybe I should just move, right? I'm really close to my ultimate, and if I can get away from the rest of my team, maybe I won't get into the Grav, and better yet, I can use my ultimate to zone the enemy away from my team when they're in the Grav. So I want to hide. I don't want the enemy to necessarily know exactly where I am, because if they know where I am, they can try and get me in the Grav. You'll notice in the top left-hand corner of your screen, they have the Grav Dragon combo like we expected. We also have a ton of ultimates ourselves. So
Now arriving at Ilios. Prepare for battle. Select your hero.
How's everyone doing?
Enough waiting around, let's get out there. Ooh. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
I'm good. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. I'm losing my shield.
The objective is now.
Oh my god. Yo, I thought the fucking wow was damn.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I didn't have shit, man. I ain't have shit.
I'm not checking in.
Alright, let's group up though. Let's get a group. Let's get a group. Let's get a group. Let's get a group. Don't fight. Don't fight. There's this motherfucker right here.
Ready?
Returned on point.
Okay, they ain't got any. They ain't got shit left. Maybe Torp, blue.
Alright, let's do this.
Yeah, we let fucking McCree's nigga behind us. We let McCree's nigga behind us.
Anna, why don't you run? Down there. Come on, kill him right. He'll run.
Torb is currently violating me in the cornhole from behind.
This Torb is violating all of us, to be honest.
Turret ahead.
And he shouldn't be.
I'm taking the objective. Come on over.
There's Torb was in our butt. This fucking Torb.
Is this Torb a god sent by humanity here?
Best round lost.
I cast this forth.
Score 0-1.
Reinhard, I must say you're looking quite well. This life must agree with you.
And you are looking as lovely as ever.
This was really
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective. The objective is now.
Diva, fight Zarya. Don't run away. This is crazy. I'm just gonna lose every fight. It's gonna get demacked. Stop the play, bro. Just go hard. Come on, Bastion. Get him right. Swing that, swing it. Oh, damn, damn. Wow. How did the Ryan get you?
Enemy turret here.
What the fuck?
Enemy turret destroyed.
Diva. We lose to a tyrant, bro.
They have been revived. Walk it off.
Take the objective. Join me in cavalry.
Look. I'm sorry, I got you. Don't you worry. Kill it, run.
Don't push too far out.
Get the mercy.
Remind me to stay off your backside.
I'm here. Healing it up.
Heal me, heal me.
Nope.
Why not, Isaac?
I'm scared. You've been talking.
What have I done to you?
Yeah, I've been talking. Oh, be careful. Be careful. On the right side, right side, right side, right side. Are they literally just gonna let me do that? Run. I'm
getting spanked everywhere here. Tor, McCree.
GG's.
Play of the game.
So let's see what happens. They grab our Orion. I'm just going to immediately use my ultimate and start beaming them down. And you'll notice how they aren't able to get a whole lot of value out of it because we're able to just beam them down with so much damage and get a few kills with our menagerie of ultimates that they can't really get any value. Let's watch that from the enemy Reinhardt's perspective. Walking in, there's the grab combo. They want to deal damage into it. They can't because of a Bastion in the back line. They get a decent grab, but that's not going to necessarily save them, and the fight is just over before it even began. So we did use a bunch of ults in that fight, but the enemy also used a bunch of ultimates, and you sometimes have to counter ultimates with ultimates. back on attack here, one thing I want to cover is shield break on Bastion. It's obviously a very trademark aspect of Bastion. He provides the most shield break in the game, period. I don't even think that like a Junkrat could provide the similar amount of shield break because of just how much larger the clip size on Bastion is. So that's going to be a very important thing that you do on Bastion. So let's cover the basics of that so that you don't completely feed every time you do it. So in this scenario, right, we're walking in here and I am going to set up essentially right behind my Reinhardt. Now this seems very obvious to a lot of people, right? I have a clear line of sight right down at the enemy and I have a shield in front of me. I'm safe. I can just break their shield. Well, this is fine and dandy to a certain extent. The only problem is our Rein's shield can also break. So if I stay in this position and I just wait until the Reinhardt's shield breaks, I will easily get burst down by damage. So I should make a rotation before that actually happens. I can deal a decent amount of shield break right here, doing a pretty decent job of it, building my ultimate, but I'm going to opt to take a little angle off to the side here, because from this angle, I can still damage the Reinhardt's shield, but if you're looking at me from the enemy perspective, they can't see me, they can't deal damage to me, so it doesn't put as much pressure on the Reinhardt to hold up his shield. So I can still do effectively the same thing I was doing before, but from a better angle that helps the rest of my team. So I can easily just deal damage. This Reinhardt is incredibly scared of me. I'm doing a ton of damage to him. And by the time that we actually start walking forward, his shield is completely broken, and we can just easily pressure him off high ground and get these kills and cap this point. So a general takeaway, if you don't need to be standing directly behind a shield and you can utilize environmental cover, it is fantastic because it just helps out the rest of your team. It puts less pressure on your Reinhardt to keep their shield up, and it puts you in a situation where you are less likely to be burst down by a random amount of damage. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. This has been Twist with Game Leap, and I'll When you're playing Bastion, you'll often find that teams won't just play around you, especially at the beginning of the game. And it's really bad to be a Bastion that requires your team to play a Bastion comp in order for you to get value. It's kind of like playing any other DPS. You don't need to be playing a comp that's specifically centered around McCree for you to get value on McCree, and the same thing should go for Bastion. So in this video, we're going to show you a game that I played where my team was running a double shield, but we weren't necessarily playing around my hero choice, and we were still able to get a ton of value. So let's just take a look at this first clip. So immediately when I'm getting around this corner, I'm trying to kill any trap that I see. I obviously don't want my team to get trapped and just delay us longer. I want to try and force their rotation, maybe break that shield a little bit, because it's going to get us a lot of extra space. And I don't want this ball to be able to do this either, so I can easily kind of pressure them out by just shooting them down. Now, I'm taking an off angle. I do have a support with me, so this is also very important. So I do have some support, but you'll notice how from this angle, I can easily deal damage to the team without actually really being in that much danger myself. If this team were to try and actually push me on Bastion, they would have to walk out into the open. Maybe they could go around this corner if they were that organized, but there's still my team over here that's pressuring them out. From this angle, I can easily just mow them down and do a ton of damage to them without really being put in any harm's way. Now, am I confirming a ton of kills? No, but I'm also dealing a plenty amount of damage to their team without really having to put myself in any danger. This is how a lot of Bastion plays are when you're playing without a team that's specifically playing around you. And then once the fight is kind of a little bit more won, you can move a little bit further up and start cleaning off those people off the point that are, trying to contest. So the general takeaways from this clip is that when you have a team that isn't just playing around you, you have to take advantage of environmental cover and make sure that you're positioned in a place where you are.
Optimizing strategy. Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Enough waiting around, let's get out there.
Give it your all. Barrier activated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
My ultimate is charging.
Onwards to victory.
I've got you in my sights.
Team up for special attack.
It's Hanu. I've got you in my sights. Area denied.
My ultimate is ready. Group up.
You should be at peak performance levels. The payload has reached nature. Onwards to victory. Barrier activated. Fire at will.
It's Hanu.
screen that the...
Score 0-3. Switching sides. Prepare to attack. Select your hero. Thank you. Attack commences in 30 seconds.
I'm getting cooked alive in here.
I know we have our differences, but your brilliant mind would be welcome amongst my colleagues in Oasis.
No, thank you. You and your colleagues discredit the field of science. I want nothing to do with it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attack commencing. Escort the payload.
Moving the payload. Join me. honey. It's honey.
Double kill.
Heroes never die.
Got you in my sights.
Surrender to my will.
Moving the payload. Clear of pack. Someone better get a fire ring because I want to roll.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
Enemy reviving.
Helden sterben nicht.
Fuck! Man. So funny.
Defeat.
Are safe. If you're not going to be playing directly behind the shield and the protection of your team, you have to make your own protection, whether that means positioning yourself far away or behind some environmental cover so that you can still deal your damage output without feeding. So when you play Bastion, you're generally going to be seen as the biggest target in the enemy's eyes. And because of this, they are going to use a lot of their abilities on you because you are perceived as the biggest threat. The most important thing is that you can actually survive a lot of these abilities if you heal while you're staying in turret mode. And why do you want to stay in turret mode? When you're in turret mode, you'll see how my head hitbox is all the way back here. So anybody who's shooting at me like this Widowmaker has no way of actually headshotting me, which is really the scariest thing as a Bastion. You do not want to be burst damage down because you have so much health to begin with. This Widowmaker can just body shot me all day and I really won't die to it because I can just heal myself. But you'll see how I'm able to still output my damage because I'm in a pretty decent spot. Now, I am going to pop my ultimate here, and because I'm popping my ultimate, they're actually going to nano Reinhardt hammer down me so that I can get no value out of it. Now, you'll see how great this is. They're using a ton of abilities. They used their ball ultimate, they used hammer down, they used nano, and they used rally. So they just used 4 ultimates because they're trying to counter me with my ultimate. And you'll notice how, yes, I'm not getting the most amount of value out of my ultimate, but I'm still able to stay alive and really just keep this fight neutral to begin with. When I'm staying in this turret mode, again, if you ever see that you're taking a bunch of damage for some reason, turn around. You want to face your enemy. It's kind of the last thing that you're expecting to have to do, but if your head hitbox is facing the enemy, you are more vulnerable. So always face the person who's shooting at you. I am going to get stuck, but I can heal through it because I also have supports with me. And that's what I mean. I just baited the enemy out of 5 ultimates. And because I'm so survivable and I understand that I have to stay in turret mode to stay alive, I can survive all these abilities. And they're actually using their wall. So this enemy has used 6 ultimates this fight, and they haven't even been able to kill me, who is their biggest threat on Bastion. And then from here, I can easily just kind of change positions, kind of pop out of nowhere, and finish off this Brig and this ball pretty easily, and just make this an easily won fight for our team. So the general takeaways. On Bastion, your job is to survive a lot of the time, and that is because the enemy is going to use a ton of abilities on you to try and kill you, because you are the biggest threat. So the things you can do to stay alive when your team is not there to back you up. First off, you can heal while you're taking damage to help negate the amount of damage that you are taking. Staying in turret mode and facing your enemy is gigantic. If you show your head hitbox, that it will be incredibly bad, and you can easily die because of it. And also, only get out of turret mode to rotate if you feel like you're seriously going to die, or the situation is under control and you feel like you can safely get to cover so that you can move. do not move preemptively. Do not be the Bastion that as soon as you get a little bit low, you immediately come out of turret mode. I've seen a lot of Bastions die because they see that they're low and they're like, oh no, I have to get away, and they leave turret mode and then get headshot. Staying in turret mode, even if it means dying in turret mode, gives you a better chance of surviving. Now, understanding where you need to be positioned on Bastion is a huge thing. Now, we showed a little bit of that in the first clip, but let's take a look at it in this clip. And the general rule I want to kind of summarize here is that if you don't know exactly where you need to be, do not be in turret mode. Put yourself in turret mode only if you're aware that this is a safe spot for me to be, and I can deal a lot of damage from this spot. Other than that, do not be the person who's constantly in and out of turret mode. That will be a much worse target to go against. Because do not be the person that's constantly in and out of turret mode, because you're not able to deal as much damage and you're more vulnerable to the enemy. So you'll notice how I'm able to heal through this barrage of damage, and the only reason I'm going to actually move is because a shield goes up. I can literally survive through a million Hanzo arrows and a bunch of storm arrows, and it's because I'm not getting out of turret mode. I was aware that if I get out of turret mode there, that Hanzo might be able to headshot me, and that's the burst damage that they need to kill me. But because I stay in turret mode and heal through it, I can make him waste his ability on me. Sure, he's going to build his ultimate, but I can at least survive until the rest of the fight when I can pop off. Now, a big thing when you're playing Bastion is also understanding that because you're a very stationary hero, you have to be very quick when it comes to making rotations. Now, I want you to notice how quickly I'm going to react to this Hanzo popping his ultimate, and we'll watch it in third person just so that you're aware of how quickly I'm going to do this. So, I'm in turret mode. The second I hear that sound cue, I'm up and I'm walking away. Why? Because I do not want to get stuck in that ultimate. So we can watch it in first person. The second I hear that ultimate come off, I'm going to immediately get up and move. And why? Because I know that if I stick around, I could easily be the target of that Dragon Strike, and that would be very bad. Now, back to the original rule I was talking about in the beginning. If you do not know exactly where you need to be and where you are safe, be up and out of turret mode. But if you feel like you're going to have the situation under control, you can go ahead and switch into turret mode to confirm those kills. And because the enemy is backing up, I'm going to get out of turret mode, pop my ultimate, and start moving forward to help confirm these kills and make this a super easy one fight for us. So again, general takeaways are, if you don't know exactly where you need to be positioned, be sure to stay out of turret mode, because the second you're in turret mode, you're kind of committing to being in one spot for a few seconds. You don't want to have to come out of turret mode to move. And be completely aware of abilities that could possibly kill you if you're stationary. Think about maybe a ball ultimate. If you know the ball has their ultimate, be ready to get up as soon as you see that ball trying to land on you. If you know they have a Hanzo ultimate, be sure to get up and move the second you hear that sound cue. Now, positioning on Bastion in relation to the enemy is incredibly important. You never want to be separated from your team and the most vulnerable target. So let's take a look at this. At the beginning of this fight, I'm just going to set up so I can just deal my basic shield break like you would on any Bastion fight. I'm just going to try and break their shield so that it's harder for them to push forward. But it's very clear that they're actually going to teleport onto point. Now, my first thought is I'm going to set up right here. But I very quickly note this is a very bad spot for me to be. Why? Because my team is not pushing with me. And I am now the most vulnerable target for the enemy because I am separated from the rest of my team. So as soon as I see this is happening, I'm going to immediately start moving, continue to heal all the way, and then set up as soon as I can. Now, when you're playing Bastion in situations like this, the biggest thing you want to focus on is shield break, especially when they're running a double shield comp, because you are probably the only hero in the game that has enough shield break that you can legitimately completely counter double shield. So once I'm set up, I'm going to focus obviously any target that is present right in front of me, but I am going to try and break these shields because I can literally destroy an Orisa shield in 2 seconds. And you'll notice how easy this fight is to win when they have no shield. Why? Because their entire team is based around having this shield. And because I was able to rotate quick enough and understand that I was vulnerable, I was able to actually set up and do that shield break that was necessary in order to win. So the general takeaways from that fight: you never want to be the most valuable target to the enemy and the most vulnerable target, and one way you can avoid that is to try and not separate yourself from your team, especially if the enemy is specifically trying to go after you. Make rotations quick, be very observant of the situation that's at hand, and once you've set up and you're against a double shield comp like that, just burn through those shields. You are the only hero in the game that can possibly counter that comp that easily, and once their shields are broken, they're kind of a sitting duck, and the rest of your team can at least kill them. If not, you can kill them. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. This has been Twisted Gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.
Please move behind the back.
Oh my god!
Bastion has been buffed, and though his ultimate has not been buffed, the rest of him has been buffed, which makes...
Till Valhalla.
Enemy contact. Regen burst activated.
The rifle behind you.
Огонь по готовности!
Commence attack on objective A.
Taking the objective. A little help is appreciated.
Target in sight. Get in here.
Till Valhalla.
Please move behind the barrier.
Let them out.
EMP activated. I'm taking care
Capturing the objective.
I could use some. Heavy stun. Till Valhalla.
Behind. Ash is behind. Bastion, let's wait to push out. Oh wait, you're saying group up, I'm sorry. What?
Seconds remaining.
You are
Watch out for Reaper.
Team up for special attack.
30 seconds.
Enemies reviving. Prepare to.
10 seconds remaining. Round 1. Score 1-0. Switching sides. Prepare your defenses. Select your hero.
Barrier activated.
Where did a medic like you learn to handle a weapon like that?
The number of battlefields I'd seen, I was bound to pick something up.
Don't worry, my friends. I am your shield.
Thank you, E54. It seems that you are growing from your original programming as well. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A. Combat protocols initiated.
Enemy contact.
On point.
You should join my team.
Reaper top right. On point, on point.
was in it. He just charged me out of it. That was a good job. Good shit back.
Uh-oh. On point.
Resing you, Bastion.
Thank you.
Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, that's me. I'm trying to get back there, you guys. I don't think I'm gonna make it back. Alright, group up.
30 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Objective lost. New defense point. Objective B. Get behind the barrier.
They're going upstairs. They're going upstairs.
Targets in sight.
Genji, right? Yeah.
Behind. Nice, Bastion. Thank you. Hog is behind too. Good shit, guys. Genji's on right side.
Get behind the barrier.
You should be at peak performance levels.
Alright, is right side. To left.
Here, I'm left.
Yeah, Ryan's coming up top.
Damn.
Right behind y'all, behind you.
Team up for special attack.
Till Valhalla.
Let them out!
60 seconds remaining.
You should be at peak performance.
Enemies found.
Let's get you back out there.
Cool head. Steady hand. We're almost there.
Oh, fuck me.
Sorry, Bastion.
You good, bro. I don't expect you guys to be around me. Tell everybody else.
Till Valhalla.
Team up for special attack.
Double. This is not your time.
How y'all doing?
GG.
GG.
Good game.
Well, time to see my first place.
That was fucking whack, bro.
Play of the game.
Good shit.
I don't like playing dash either. I figure I'd kill.
Triple.
Wow.
I troll hard enough.
Bug healing.
I troll.
Thank you, Mercy, for carrying heals.
That was fun.
makes him a lot more viable in your games. Understanding how to use his ultimate and get a bunch of kills on it is incredibly important because honestly it is one of the most fun ultimates to pop off with whenever you get the opportunity. So in this video we're going to show you 4 examples of me popping off on Bastion, and we're going to look at some of the things that are in common and some of the ways that I manage to use his ultimate to get all of these kills. So the first one is a flank Bastion. You'll notice that I am coming back from spawn here because they managed to pick me off last fight. Now, Bastion's ultimate is incredibly disruptive to enemies, and this is because it's a ton of damage. You're a pretty difficult target to kill because you have 300 HP, you have no visible head unless they see behind you, so a lot of the times waiting for the perfect time and waiting for them to start using their ultimates is incredibly important. So you'll notice that they're using their ultimates, they have used Valk and they've used their High Noon, and at the same time they have a few more ultimates coming up. So I can easily divert their attention and make it very difficult for them to get what they want to have done by popping my ultimate and basically throwing a wrench into their plans. So shooting onto the general target of the grav is obviously very important, but you never want to shoot for the tanks when you're playing Bastion. You are a one-hit kill to any 200 HP target, and there's no reason why you should be shooting at the Reinhardt when you should be shooting at the McCree. That's why, if you're looking at this, I first try and shoot for the McCree. I happen to kill the Reinhardt because he gets charged, but if my first target is immediately the McCree and then the Mercy that is valking in the air, and honestly hitting shots like that is really not too difficult. It's a pretty easy ultimate to aim with. So general takeaways, target focus should always be on squishies, not necessarily tanks. So high ground on Bastion is obviously incredibly important because it makes you a little bit harder for the enemy to deal with, and honestly it's kind of difficult for the enemy to get you off this high ground because you can't be booped off and you deal a ton of damage, making it very difficult for teams that are relatively stationary to walk towards you. So in this clip you'll see the enemy team do what a lot of teams try to do against Bastions and kind of just pretend that you're not there. You'll notice that clearly their plan was to try and go in on, you know, over here and maybe walk up this way to try and minimize the amount of space that they can actually see me, but obviously that's not really going to plan. It's very easy for you to take advantage of teams that are incredibly spread out like this, and, you know, again, focusing down the squishies first. I take a shot on the Reinhardt, I'm not really going to deal with him too much. I'd rather get these 2 other kills and then finish off the Reinhardt at the end. So, Bastion is fantastic at completely dismantling teams that are really bad at making transitions, and this will happen a lot at lower levels of the game. The enemy had the right idea here by trying to push in through here and trying to get onto this high ground through here and trying to minimize the amount of time that they actually can see me. But because a lot of teams are not coordinated enough to actually commit to that plan, you'll see how easy it is for me to completely destroy their entire existence as soon as it starts going south. They start splitting up, and then you can easily capitalize off of that, even though they were starting to get some picks before I even ulted. And then we can get these nice 4 kills and just completely decimate the enemy. So conclusion of that, if you see a team that is making a mistake, like being really messy in their transitions, this is a great way to capitalize off of it. Bastion punishes teams that are completely spread out because it makes his targets incredibly easy, and you can just shoot one, kill that target, move on to the next target. It's very, very simple. So it's a lot harder to use his ultimate against a clumped together team behind a shield versus a team that's incredibly chaotic and is basically going everywhere. Bastion thrives on chaos in this way. And again, like with that clip, being on the high ground made it incredibly easy for me to pick off those targets because I had a nice vantage point where I could easily just go, okay, this target, this target, this target, this target. So moving into this clip, I want to focus on something that's actually a little bit interesting. Flank Bastion. Now this is not something that you see often in a lot of teams. You'll see Bastions kind of sit behind their shield and just deal a bunch of damage. I've found that you can get a lot of value just flanking sometimes, not all the times, but there's a few situations where it's okay. And one of those situations is where they're not really paying attention to you. If the rest of your team is pushing in and they're creating that frontline pressure, you'll notice how nobody on their team is too focused on me taking this high ground. They just kind of assume I'm not there. Even though that Ana did see me, I really doubt that they're really thinking about, oh, there's a Bastion flanking, because that's not really something that you hear all the time. But I'm waiting for that frontline pressure. The enemy is starting to get pressured out by my team, and then I can just kind of swoop in from above, pop my ultimate, and before they even know where I am, that transcendence is a little useless, not gonna lie, because I can just one-shot right through it. And the enemy literally has nothing that they can do about it, and I can pick up 3 nice easy kills and make this a super easy cap for our team. So in conclusion, flanks are fine, but you do want to wait for frontline pressure, and you ideally don't want the enemy to know exactly where you're coming from, because if they know where you're coming from, it can be a little bit difficult. And frontline pressure is incredibly important because otherwise it'd be very easy for the enemy Reinhardt to just hold his shield there while I just unload into it. But because our team is also pressuring him out, he can't just sit there with his shield up. He has to make do with the rest of our team as well. So in this clip, I want to focus on punishing teams that have overextended. Again, you'll notice that a general theme throughout all of these clips is that I'm capitalizing on a lot of the mistakes that the enemy is doing. The same thing happens in the Hanamura clip. They make a mistake with their rotation, I can capitalize off of it. In this scenario, the enemy is going to make a mistake by being overly aggressive to me when I have my ultimate. So let's see what happens. They managed to get a decent hook onto me. That's unfortunate. I am going to survive it because I can just right click. They're using a ton of ultimates. So their hook is out. They just used their Sigma ultimate. Their Reaper just came out of Wraith, and their Sigma just used his Eat ability. So they have nothing to counter my ultimate as soon as I pop it. This means that I can easily punish all of these targets that normally would be a problem. Now again, you'll notice that I am trying to shoot for the squishies first. If a tank gets in the way and they're low, obviously that's a fine target, but you get more kills and you show up in the kill feed more often if you focus for these squishy targets. Another thing that I'd like to mention that I do in this clip that I don't do in necessarily all the other clips because I am still working on my Bastion play personally is that I am using my right click in between shots most of the time. This makes me a little bit more survivable and allows me to heal any damage that I happen to take. So general takeaways from that clip, you want to try and wait until the enemy uses their abilities, and again, capitalizing off of their mistakes. That team invested a ton of ultimates and a ton of abilities into a fight that they didn't necessarily even win, and from there I can easily just pop my ultimate and there's again nothing that they can do about it. So waiting for abilities to be off of cooldown for the enemy that can possibly affect your ultimate is very important, and also trying to look for the enemy making those mistakes. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. This
is the hometown of my master.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
It's good to be working with you again, Dr. Ziegler.
And under better circumstances, too. You should be at peak performance level.
Get ready to move.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Let's move out.
Yo, there's like a whole goddamn squad on me.
What's on point? Oh, just
Shut up. I killed him, dude.
okay.
Easy.
You got it. Incoming, Ryan.
Get in here. Activating the barrier.
Oh!
You should be at peak performance level.
Watch out, they're coming from the coming from in here. They're going around.
be at peak performance levels.
Enemies in our orbit.
This is not your time to get any fun.
Let them up! Get in there! Tactical visor activated. Get in the immortality field.
Let's get you back in the fight.
Instructions to rescue.
Heroes never die.
Reject Wilson activated.
Helden sterben nicht.
Round 1 complete. Score 0-3. Switching sides. Prepare to attack. Select your hero.
Check this out.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
The true struggle is for the superiority of ideas.
Check this out.
What? I didn't see you get ulted once. After the first choke.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attack commencing. Capture.
Why do we still have a Bastion, dude? It's not working at all.
Get over here and heal him.
Get into position.
You're doing
Dude,
nothing. You're killing.
Telling him, dude.
Enemy turret detected. Enemy turret destroyed.
Alright, turrets are gone.
यही परम वास्तविकता है।
Let off some steam!
Surrender to my will.
Jesus, Bastion, dude, you're so bad.
यही परम वास्तविकता है। यही परम वास्तविकता है।
Ready for a shot.
Oh my god, dude.
Watch yourself.